Hey guys, I am back with another video today. This one is actually going to be a tutorial. After my video yesterday, I had a couple people ask me about how I attach the fabric to stretcher bars, so I thought I would go ahead and try to do it and explain it the best way I can and show you how I do it. Obviously, there's always more than one way to do something, but this is just the way that I do it. So the pattern I chose is the Prairie Schooler Double Double. And the size of this is on 32 count fabric, which is what I picked, is 4 3/4 by 6 1/8. I rounded up. I rounded the 4 3/4 up to 5 inches, and then I rounded down the 6 1/8 to 6. Because the stretcher bars are even numbers, not even numbers, but they're whole numbers, I always make sure that I either round up or round down in the measurement to calculate how much fabric I need and the size of my stretcher bars. So because that is 5 by 6 and I always do a 3-inch margin on either side, my fabric would need to be 11 by 12. 5 plus 6, 6 plus 6. So the stretcher bars I have are 11 inch by 12 inch. When you buy the stretcher bars, you get a pair. So 2 11s, 2 12s. Obviously, you want it to be, it has to be 11 inches on one side and on the other side, and then 12 on the other. You can't have, like with a Q-snap, you can't have 4 different sizes. It will be wonky. It won't be straight. And I will put a link down below to the stretcher bars and to the tacks. So those are the stretcher bars. These are the tacks. Let me cut the paper off of these first. So I just cut the paper off. I probably should have done this before the video, but I wanted to show you guys the label. So, oh good God. Usually these aren't this hard to undo. Oh my God. Okay, let me pause and I will take, oh, there went a piece of it. Yeah, but let me pause and I'll unwrap these. Okay, I'm back. I unwrapped them all. Now, what you have to do first is you have to put the frame together. You can see they have like these little grooves, and you just match them up. What I do is I'll put it in like that, twist it, and they're really easy to work with. They're pretty soft. Now, I'll show you how I get them exactly square, however. And you can also sand some of the edges, like here's a rough edge right here. I just picked that off. Now, I will squeeze them together. And actually, a lot of times what I'll do, that one came together nice, is I will put them on the floor and like lean on it. Like there you go, I just leaned on that and that really secured that one. Or I'll put it in the corner up against a wall. I've also used a rubber mallet before to bang them together. There, that one came together good. You just really want to make sure, I think they're all done. See how it's really tight and flush? You want to make sure that all of these are flush. Okay. Take your fabric, and it should match, you know, exactly because your fabric is cut to the exact size of the stretcher bars. Now, there are a couple ways that people do this, but this is just the way I do it. You can see the tacks are flat, pointy. This is to remove the tacks. If you mess up, you just dig underneath of it. I pour them out. It's just easier. Now, I eyeball it. And they even make this tool that I used to have a long time ago, but I don't use anymore. That is magnetic, and it will actually push these in. I just use my thumb. Like I said, it's pretty easy to push them in. Now, I will start on the top and the bottom. I'll put a tack in the bottom in the middle approximately of each one. And then I just start stretching. I put a tack probably about every inch or so. And I'll go one side to the other. I mean, this is not an exact science here, people, but now you could also, because on my other piece that I'm working on right now, I have a smaller set of stretcher bars, and what I did was I folded the fabric over. I'm showing you the easiest way to do it because it's easier when you don't have to fold fabric over. Now, that side's tacked. To make this tight or tighter, I will pull the fabric on this side a little bit. Just make sure it's even, with the edge of the stretcher bars. But you want to have some tension so your stitches are more uniform and neat. We all know this. That's why a lot of us use Q-snaps or scroll frames. These are just extremely lightweight and they're inexpensive, and I really like using them. And obviously I wanted to pick a smaller piece to show you so it wouldn't take all day for me to pin it. And because you've added a border, the holes in the fabric from these tacks, when you remove it, it gets eaten up by the framing, so not a big deal. So, obviously that's not as tight as it can be. When you stretch these sides, it will be tight. And you don't want to pull the fabric too much where it's distorted. As you do this more and you get more practice, you'll get better at it. I first used these when I was doing needlepoint because you stretch your canvas and tack it to stretcher bars. And these mini stretcher bars are really fantastic because, like I said, they're lightweight and they're only a ½ inch thick. You can use standard stretcher bars because they are bigger. They have bigger sizes than 20 inches. But holding them in my hand proved to be a little bit of a problem. So, okay, I pull this side and stretch it. You want it, it's tight. You can see me tapping on it. You want it a little bit tight or a lot tight. It's tight enough for me. I mean, this is pretty drum tight. But you want it tight so your stitches are nice and uniform. And if you ever need to pull any tacks out, like I could pull this out, I'm going to show you. Just get this little lip underneath there, wiggle it, and it comes right out. I'm going to stretch that one again because it kind of, like I said, they're really easy to push in. Now you also, once you tack this down, you have two choices of which side you want to work on. And I'll explain why I work on one side versus the other. Most people will work on this side. Now this is pretty tight. You can see, yeah, it's pretty tight. Most people will work on this side. I usually will attach my pattern, somewhere along the line with needle minders. And I will, for this one, I probably will do it this way. I will work on this side because of the size of this pattern. But for my other pattern that I'm currently working on, I am working in the well, which would be on this side. And the reason why I like to work in the well, number one, my light that I use for stitching, it catches these. These are like gold colored. It catches these and it like will glare in my eyes, and I don't really care for that. But also it is easier to finish off your threads when your fabric is right up against this. If you stitch on this side and then you go to finish off your thread, and if you're over here, it's a little bit difficult to get your needle underneath there. So that's why I like working in the well. Now I probably could work, whoops, don't want to show you the pattern. I probably could work in the well for this and just attach my needle minder like right there. But yeah, I don't know how I'm going to do that. But yeah, so as I knock tacks on the floor. So that's it. It is actually really that simple and that easy. I only use these obviously for smaller projects. The stretcher bars go up, the mini ones go up to 20 inches. 20 inches can be quite a big size to hold in your hand. Now these will go in a Lowry frame because I used to have a Lowry frame and these went right in there and I had no problem. So this is another option instead of, like I said, really lightweight. I should have brought a scale out to tell you how much it actually weighs. It is less than a Q-snap by far. And you can see they're only a ½ an inch thick. So I have no problem, and my hands or arms never hurt holding these. So if you have any questions, if I didn't explain something clearly enough, please comment below and I will answer. I hope this helped you, and happy stitching. Bye.